Hi, I'm Debbie Chronister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm glad you're joining me today. You can find me at stampwithdeb.com, and I am I'm on Facebook Live every Tuesday at 3 o'clock and Pacific time, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Let's get started. I have a really fun project for you today. This is the card, and whoops, let's turn it right side up. It stands on its own. So you guys probably can't tell this, but that is the way that it stands. So this was a card that I made a couple of months ago, and what I did is I scored here and I folded these back under. This time I'm going to cut them off. And this is actually called a diamond point card, is what it's called. So I'm going to show you how I did it from the beginning. And I have a post that's almost ready to go. It's just waiting for the video. And then I will put it on. And I'm going to grab some more light here, just because I have so much shadow going on here. Okay, let's see if that helps. There we go. Probably too much light now. Okay, so I have a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 11, just our standard size cardstock. I'm going to place it in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut it at 5.5. This is an odd size card, so you'll want an envelope punch board in order to make your envelope for it. Which I'm not going to show you. Our envelope punch board has retired, but for those who have them, you could make a card with this. I mean, an envelope to go in it. If not, I'm sure if you Google envelope, how to make an envelope, you will come up with something. Okay, and then I'm going to score at 5.5, just like that. And that did not score super well right now. Let's try it again. And actually, I'm going to use my stylus to score that. It's my preferred method. So I usually would use a scoring board. Okay. All right, now I'm going to put this in my paper trimmer at half of 5.5 is 2 3/4, right? So I'm going to put it at 2 3/4, and I'm just going to mark that right there with the pencil, right at the edge. And then I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to cut from that 2 3/4 inch mark to my score. And that's why I scored this. I mean, that's why I folded it, so I could see very easily where that line is. Okay, so I'm going to cut from this score line right here to that center mark that I made. And that moved a little bit. Oops, let's see if it makes a difference. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to cut from my center mark to my score line. Let's hold that down this time. Okay, and then I just want to erase my pencil mark here, because that will show, because it's right on the tip of there. Okay, now I have a piece of basic white that I've cut that is 5 1/4. I have 2 of them actually. One's for the front, one's for the inside. This one's 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to mark this at 2 5/8, which is half of 5 1/4. 2 5/8. Let me just look again, make sure I have the right lines here. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut from this corner to that 2 5/8 inch mark. Whatever you do, don't lose track of what is your top corner. If you do, you're going to end up with some odd pieces. And then I'm going to cut from this corner. I'm going to rotate that around. Cut from this top corner to my center mark again. And let's put those over there. And then I have a piece of the Designer Series paper, and this is from Design a Dream, which is a host reward. You can get, it's normally $30 for this. If you purchase it with host credits, it's a lot less. So on this one, I'm going to mark this at 2.5. So you notice this is cut at 5 by 5. I'm going down 1/4 inch each time, and then I'm going down, so I'm cutting it in half each time. Okay, and I'm just going to go from the half to that corner, and then from the half to the top corner again. Okay, now we have all of our pieces cut, and I'm going to put this aside. And we can get rid of the pencil. Okay, so this one is going to attach to this. So let me grab my glue. And I find that the green glue is a little easier to use on this one. It's a little bit more controlled. You also want to be careful as you get down to that point down there. If you get too much glue, it looks really nasty. Okay, and then this is going to go right on here. Like that. So anytime you're cutting layers, you just go down 1/4 inch on each layer and then cut your angle. Let's move that over a little bit. The green glue also gives me a little bit of play. And we'll erase that, my marks. And then this is going to get attached to the front of my card. Just like that. There's my first layer. Now I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 that's going to go on the inside of my card. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, if you're stamping something, you want to do that here before you attach this. So you can go to use the other side if need be. Just going to scoot that a little bit. Okay, there's the beginning. All right, now we're going to go back over to these pieces, and I'm going to find the right one for each one. So this one is going to go on here, and this one is going to go on here. So let's go ahead and attach those. This is where the glue can get real messy down here. So you want to watch that real close. And this is going to be just a tiny line around each side. And same on this one. This is really critical. If I attach this to the wrong side, oops, then my card is messed up. So that's going that way, and this is going to go this way. Okay, I just needed to make sure. Otherwise, it's going to be backwards, and I'm going to have to flip it, and it'll be the wrong paper. Okay, now these are going to attach to the panels that we cut off. And if I have to flip it over, then it's telling me it's probably the wrong side. That's kind of my thought on these. But we'll see if that's true. And I can tell you something else. If you mess this up, you can cut a 2 3/4 inch piece, or a 2 1/2, or a 2 5/8, whichever you need, and then cut it from top to bottom, and it'll work. I know. I did it. So I'm just going to attach my this to my mint macaron. So I'm using mint macaron today with this. And then I'm going to use Real Red. Interesting how those two colors go together, isn't it? Okay. So this is going to go on this side, and this is going to be attached on this side. Perfect. So you want this straight edge, this right angle to be going down. Although, what would happen if I did it this way? Oh no, it goes this way. Sorry, guys. No, it doesn't. It goes this way. No, it's not going that way. Okay. Which way? I have to look. My straight edge is going up. So this one goes over here. And this one goes over there. Okay, so that's good to know. My straight edge is going to go up. And I'm going to make sure that it's attached so that these are not hanging over the card, because you don't want to catch them when you put it in an envelope. Okay, so let's start with my left one here. And I'm just going to put adhesive on the top of this one. And I'm lining up this at the bottom, trying to make it kind of straight. Okay, I want this edge, and this is going up really far. It almost looks like it's bigger. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I'm kind of playing with it just to get it in the right place. Okay. Now that one feels larger than, and I am going up straight with my edge. Okay. And then this one, oops, I wasn't supposed to do that, was I? This is not supposed to have adhesive on it down here. So we're going to wipe that off for now. And then I'm going to let it dry. And I can use the adhesive eraser. See my ugly adhesive eraser? Let me grab some rubbing alcohol on my hand. So a little rubbing alcohol, and I keep a cloth nearby so I can just wipe that glue right off. The rubbing alcohol breaks the glue down pretty fast. So I won't end up with sticky fingers all over. Okay, so let's come back and let's put this one on. Just like that. And I'm going to press down this part, but I'm not going to press on here because that's got my glue on it that I'm going to clean off later. Okay, now let's, and something that I have discovered is that the extra thick Whisper White has a tendency to bleed out when you color. Whoops. Let me start with a lighter color first of all. So it will bleed out. So when you're doing this, you're going to want to use the regular white, not the extra thick. So I've gone on the inside edge of that, but it's not going to do it now, of course, because I wanted to show you guys. But when you use the extra, because I didn't go close enough to the edge probably, or my pen isn't as moist as the other pen that I was using. But when I did it earlier, it bled out of the edge. So you want to be careful using the extra thick, thick extra white for these kind of things. I usually use just extra white. I mean, just basic white, and I don't use the thick. So I have on here, I've already colored, and I used Real Red and Mint Macaron, light and dark both, and then I used the Crumb Cake Dark in order to get that dark center and on these little flower parts. So I've cut a circle using the Stylish Shapes dies, which are brand new and they're my favorite right now. And I have cut a circle from the Layering Circle dies. So we're going to put those two together to start with. Just like that. And then I'm going to pop up my flower here. As soon as I find my dimensionals, I cleaned my desk off in order to do this video because, I mean, my room's been a mess. I have so much going on. So here we go. I laid them next to me. So I should have done this with the hippo, huh? That would have been cute. Okay, so let's add our flower. Just kind of centering it there. I am going to glue it here because I want it to be good and firm, but it's so many different levels. So I'm just going to glue that right onto there. And then, here's a good question. Has anybody got the new red and green ribbon yet? I have not received it yet. So I am using one of our retired ribbons, but there is a new red and green ribbon that come together, packaged together. So that will be our red and green ribbon for Christmas this year, I'm sure. It's in the new mini catalog. And they come together. They're a combo pack. But I'm using something I have. So this has retired, like I said. This is the red linen, and I love it. It was one of my favorites when it was out. And I'm just going to attach that with a bow. And, attach the bow with a glue dot. How about that? And just right down here. And then I'm going to use the bling, which is the one that I was telling you about that I will be giving away after today's. And my take your pick tool. And I'm going to use I could use the green, because the green almost looks like a mint macaron. But I want the red because it'll show up. Whoops. Let's hook that down there. And one here. And we'll put one down here. And there we are. That is my card for today.